Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Dan Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel podcast. As always, I'm Ricky, and I'm joined by Dennis.
Nice.
Today, what do we got? We got Loki Season 3, and maybe some other Spider-Man stuff to talk about.
Yeah, if you're watching this after reading the description of the episode, I also mentioned that we might be talking about Gen V. We might be talking about Werewolf by Night, now in color. We might be also talking about the new release of Spider-Man, the video game.
You watched a lot more stuff than I did.
I'm just saying, these are all things we can still talk about.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And much more. How about that?
And much more.
Yes.
So what you been up to? You've been taking a lot more photos.
I've been posting a lot more photos. I've also been taking more photos. I've been doing the October challenge from the ACBA group, and it's kind of like Inktober, if anybody's familiar with that drawing challenge. There's a prompt.
What's ACBA again?
The Articulated Comic Book Art group. I think they started on Facebook, like in 2013 or something like that, They've been around a while. Or 2009, I think, is when they first started coining that term. But it basically just means you take your toys, you take props, dioramas, cutouts, and you make a nice photo that recreates some magical moment or creates a new magical moment that you could see in your head happening. It's a little bit member berries and a little bit like what if. That's kind of what it is, but with toys.
It's half and half. Dudes to show off their expensive collections.
Yeah, it's for dudes to show off their expensive toy collections, and it's a justification for having giant collections, right? Like that's how it starts.
Is it a justification or your justification?
It's a justification. But I think I do know a lot of people that like to do toy photography, and it helps. One, it's a hobby that your wives are never going to have to worry about you going out on or stepping out on them. All right. You're just going to be at home taking pictures with your toys all day long. All right. Just be cool.
There are other vectors that could open up though. Let's be real.
Sure. That's true. But yeah, no, it's a fun thing that I've been doing for a few years now. I've been, taking some more photography classes to try and improve my game and just get better at it. And so when this challenge came around this October, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try and do this. And so, yeah, I've been cranking out, I've been posting a picture that's never been on my socials before every day. I have missed one day. I promise to make it up before this month is over. But yeah, we're on October 20th. I've posted at least 19 unique photos. And some of them, what's up?
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. And I'm also, taking some photo classes that are requiring me to do other stuff beyond these photos. So I'm just hanging out with my camera like all the time right now. It's a lot. It's a lot. But is there anyone you appreciated the most this week?
Oh, we can loop back around on that.
Okay, fair enough. I'm glad you noticed. I'm glad you're paying attention to them. It's fun. It's fun to see who likes them and like who like what different people are checking it out. And I do appreciate like the extra, attention or viewers or followers, whatever you want to call it, that I've been getting because of it. So it's fun, like the alternatively, like, sometimes I go on there and post graphs and charts about HasLabs, like the crowdfunds that Hasbro does, so that
it's like not there yet, is it? The giant man HasLab.
It's gonna be. I don't know how. Like, I mean, I can show you. I can just show you how it's gonna be there, and how everybody is throwing a giant fit because they don't see it happening, but it's actually exactly on pace with the Striker, the Sky Striker. the GI Joe one
Mm-hmm.
that costs $30 more, and is
This is like your big short moment.
I mean, it really is, because like people don't believe me, and it's dumb. Like, because I use like historical data to project, you know what I mean? Like, and or to forecast. And it's pretty funny how close my predictions have been daily. Like, they update daily, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
I can show you right now that it's really, really not as bad as people say it is. So check it out. I do map this. I've been meaning to post more in,
Whoa.
but I don't get to normally. But as you can see, I got two charts here. I got successful and failed. And what this is it tracks every ASLab that's ever succeeded, obviously, everyone that's ever failed. And then I threw Giant Man on both of them. So you can see something here. There's Giant Man,
Mm-hmm.
and right on top of the Sky Striker, which, look at the giant spike the Sky Striker had on the last day. This is pretty much what happens on every crowdfund ever on the last few days. And so it's funny to me because, like, if it was actually performing badly, it would have been doing something more like any of these, right? Just starting out low and never making it up, or actually going negative somewhere around the midway point when people start to believe it's going to fail.
Oh
It
yeah.
has it hasn't done that, right? Like, every
Mm-hmm.
single day it's grown. You can see it's continuously growing. So I keep telling people it's outperforming every single crowdfund that HasLab has done that's ever failed, and it's right on par with one the actual uh, HasLab that had the greatest increase in the last 36 hours of any crowdfund. Now, did the GI Joe thing get all tiers? No, it did not. And guess what? This one's not going to either. It's not gonna. It needs 14,000 backers.
Sorry, scroll fans.
Yeah. So I'm keeping it real. Like, as of like each day that's gone by, like, the number has gotten closer and closer to 13,000 for what my target estimate is for where it's going to end. But yeah, it's doing fine. If you're curious, I have high, low, and average. Worst case scenario, it would end at 6,669, which basically means it's not going to gain any more at all starting today. Not going to happen. The best case scenario ends at 25,789. Also not going to happen. It's just not. Nobody cares that much about Giant Man. But the realistic estimate that I have is currently, as of today, is it's going to end at 13,017.
All
So
right. So we're in the middle.
yeah. Well, it's more on the low end, but yes, it's going to be right where it needs to be to hit that sweet spot. But I've been seeing a lot of people posting their gut feelings that it's gonna fail. And
You're not posting these, are you?
I posted one earlier in the year or in the month, and I've just been super busy. So, like,
Are we a
I
week
go to
out? Or when does it end? The 31st?
it ends on Monday.
Oh, I think you should put one out if you can tomorrow night.
Yeah, I can put one out.
What if your post dissuades people from?
Well, that's the trick. Like, I have gone on some people's some toy collectors, like, messages, and I've sent this information to them, and but yeah, the reality is, like, I'm not posting a lot of them this time around because, like, I realize there's really important people that I don't want to piss off that actually watch these things, and so
Oh,
um so and also I don't want to steer it one way or the other. I like, not that I think I can, but, like, I don't want to do what you just said. I don't want to I don't want to see people,
you
like,
should throw out some
intentionally
false data out there.
yeah, right. Yeah. But no, I'll probably take some time out to post something tomorrow, just to as a nice friendly update. But yeah, every day that's gone by, it's just fallen just shy of what I estimated it would go for that day. But it's like, we're talking about, like, like a handful. It's
Mhm.
really been so I've been pretty close so far about tracking this thing to where it's going to end. And so yeah, Monday would have to be completely off the wall out of left field in order for it to not succeed. So if you want a giant man, just go back it now. Because the worst thing
I kind of want one. I kind of want one. I'm not a giant man fan by any means, but he is kind of cool.
He's really cool. He's cool. But what about you? What have you been nerding out on?
Goosebumps.
Nice.
Did you watch the movies that came out it's like 5 years ago now?
I am completely too old to have watched Goosebumps ever.
You've read Goosebumps?
No,
Okay.
because I'm too old to have read Goosebumps too. Those didn't exist when I was a kid.
Yeah, you had. I don't know what you had back then.
Harry Potter and Goosebumps were not around when I was a kid.
Well, Goosebumps was around when I was a kid. It had a great show on Nickelodeon, I think, back in the early 2000s.
Was it Nick? I thought it was on Fox Kids.
It could be on Fox Kids, but they shared a lot of content.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't watch Nickelodeon a lot, but I remember it being on Fox Kids.
And it was, it was kind of like that. Animorphs is like the best analog I could put it to.
I never watched Animorphs.
God, you're old. Your early 2000s sci-fi show.
Never watched.
Okay. But the long story short, the director of the last movies that came out, the ones with Jack Black, which I've seen the first one, I haven't seen the second one, but the first one's entertaining. It is very much a kid's movie though. He somehow got Sony to let him do a Goosebumps pilot, and it is like very much more for like adults who watch Goosebumps and not for kids. And I think that's kind of cool.
Like Rogue One, right?
Yeah, there's a slight edge to this new Goosebumps series on D Plus and Hulu that I kind of enjoy. I think there's some interesting characters.
So wait, is the one on Disney Plus based off the pilot that you were mentioning?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes of it so far, and I was like, when do people start dying?
People don't die in Goosebumps.
That's the line for me. That's just like, what kind of horror story are we telling here?
I mean, people are usually dead, but people don't die.
I need people to die for it to be horror for me.
Like, if I remember some of the books, like when people really get really, really hurt, but they don't die. It's like when Batman puts villains away.
Not in the movies, it ain't. In the movies, Batman puts them away for good.
I don't know, but I found the little story cool because like if you don't know the books, I can see how it makes no sense. But each plot point in each episode is a book of its own.
Yeah, the show feels like a busted cabin in the woods where no one dies. Have you seen Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah. You're not wrong, but I think the goosebumpiness makes up for it.
That's funny. I was amused by some of the music choices they had in the first episode.
That was also amazing. There's some very modern contemporary music in there that just comes out of nowhere.
And is about strip clubs, and you're like,
yes. Again, Disney Plus. You can find it on the homepage.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, but I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I was telling you the other day, I watched the adult version of that show this week. It's called The Fall of the House of Usher. It is another series from Mike Flanagan on Netflix. He's got like his house collection. He's got all these different like anthology stories that like they're usually ghost stories and stuff, but there is one rogue vampire story in all of those, and it's not good. But yeah, no, he's like probably one of my favorite horror directors right now, and he's had like this contract with Netflix to make a lot of different shows. Usually he's very inspired by Stephen King. I think Midnight Mass actually was an adaptation of a Stephen King short story. He also did Gerald's Game, the movie for Netflix, which was another Stephen King short story. And he also did Dr. Sleep, which was the sequel to The Shining with Ewan McGregor.
I think I like that movie.
I think I do too. But it's probably my least favorite Mike Flanagan thing that he's ever made. That said, The Fall of the House of Usher, he decided to go a little new direction. It's an entire adaptation of the works of Edgar Allan Poe. And say what you will about Edgar Allan Poe, how weird he was, whatever. Like wanted to hook up with his cousin. That's whatever. That's I'm not even gonna talk about that. But the guy wrote some pretty creepy stories, and Mike Flanagan decided to add a whole lot of sex and murder into those stories and make it really fun. And yeah, it's the adult version of what you were saying. So I definitely did
much.
not. I didn't get.
There's I think there's some sexiness in Goosebumps. That's weird to say, but there's no murder. No murder.
There's full on orgies. There, I said it. 15 minutes in Hall of the House Flusher. It's no, it's a pretty out there show. As far as ghost stories go, I give it like a B plus, but I did really enjoy the cast of it. It's kind of becoming like American Horror Story, where they keep like bringing back the same actors, but then they add a few new ones each time. And so, each time the cast gets more familiar with each other, and you just feel like, yeah, you really know how to work with each other. But this time around, they added Mark Hamill to the mix, dude. And
is that good or bad?
It's so good. He plays an awesome character, and he does a voice. So it's not his normal voice. He does it actually sounds a lot like the voice of Skips from Regular Show that he used to do, if you ever watched that cartoon.
Which one Skips?
Skips is the big Yeti thing that skips around, goes around skipping.
Oh, yeah.
That's Mark Hamill.
Okay.
And it's a weird Mark Hamill voice, but he brings that voice back, but without the comedy. And
that's pre-sequel money. So, man, needed to work.
Pre-sequel money? Skips? Yeah, it was. But it was post-Joker money. I mean,
I don't know if Joker money's as good as Star Wars money.
Hey, he's had a paying gig for like 20 years as a Joker. All right, I'm just saying. Anyways, yeah. So if you're looking for the kids' version of horror, go check out Goosebumps. I think Ricky endorses it.
Yes. Speaking of kids stuff that comes out next week, where are you on the Five Nights at Freddy?
I've never played them.
Never played them. Okay.
I
mean, those came out after I graduated high school.
Yeah, I know when they came out. I just managed to miss them.
All right, it's on Peacock, that's why I ask, or it'll be on Peacock.
Oh, it's a show on Peacock.
It's a movie. They're doing it day and date in theaters.
Okay, when's that come out? This weekend?
Friday.
Friday. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll check it out. I'll watch anything horror in October. It's just that's my rule. Like if it's a horror somebody recommends, I'll find a way to watch it. Unless it's super expensive, then I won't do it. Then I'll just wait. Yeah. Well, I watched Pet Sematary Bloodlines. Terrible.
Is it based off the sequel movie?
No.
I mean, okay.
It's a prequel.
Yeah, I know it's a book. Okay. Is it a prequel to that movie?
It's a prequel to the first movie.
Okay.
But like,
what's the gimmick with Pet Cemetery? It's just like they bury their pets in the thing and they come to life, right?
It's an Indian burial ground that's got magical powers, and it's always marked. It's right next door to the pet cemetery, and so people always put like big warning signs, say, "Hey, don't go past this line." But some idiot always does. Then they put their cat there, and the next thing you know, cat's back and like, whoa, cool. That's awesome. Now I don't have to be a responsible pet owner. And then next thing you know, their kid gets hit by a truck and they're like, that's okay. I don't have to be a responsible parent either. And then they go and just bury the kid there. And then that's the first movie or the first book, whatever. Okay. But this prequel is like from like the 1800s, or like, no, not 1800s, from like the 1960s. You find out like that the town actually knows about that. And back in the 1800s, when the town was founded or whatever, like it had to deal with weird magic stuff that happened, and it's kind of a curse on the town. And so ever since then, the people who run the town try to keep an eye out in case some idiot goes and buries something out there. It's an okay movie, but I just wanted to throw it out there. I wasn't scared. We can move on. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, let's not let this conversation die down
Oh
and
gosh.
get into. It might die down. Okay, and get into the news.
What a
My
ringing
mouse,
endorsement.
yeah, my mouse was unresponsive for like a second. I thought it died.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like setting up the audience for just super
No. I
disappointment.
couldn't get my mouse to
It's
work for a
only
second.
gonna get worse from here, guys.
I mean,
No.
it probably is though.
By the way, like and subscribe, and feel free to
Oh,
comment.
I
It
totally
helps.
jumped the gun on the news. You played Spider-Man.
I did. I'm wearing the shirt too. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Spider-Man. You played Spider-Man on PS5. The new game, or Spider-Man
Spider-Man
2 on
2.
PS. Mhm.
Yes, it's great. It feels long, and I'm okay with that, but it is what I appreciate about Miles, the Miles expansion or whatever you want to call it, or add-on, whatever. I like the shortness of Miles because like I just don't have the time for a
Mhm.
really long game.
It's a very solid game.
Yeah, it's beefy. It's
Yeah,
beefy. How
it
about
just
that?
does a thing full of action, and then it's done.
Yeah, but it's really cool. Like my wife and I were looking at it, and thinking about like how that game is built on the backs of a lot of like great games. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like it borrows from God of War, Shadow of the Colossus, Batman, the Arkham franchise, obviously the Uncharted games, like
Well,
and
there's
yeah,
also, I think, Spider-Man game is a genre at this point.
exactly. Yeah, it is. And one of the subgenres of Spider-Man game is Spider-Man game that lets you use the black symbiote costume. And so I'm pretty excited to see how this one measures up to that subgenre because I don't have the suit yet. Spoilers, but it's really
I
fun. You get to play as two different Spider-Man throughout the game, and that's not. I wouldn't say that's never happened, but that's not a common thing that happens in Spider-Man video games. So
I managed to play a bit of it, little teensy bit, and it feels like Spider-Man the first game in Miles.
yeah,
Duh. I think it plays itself for the first 30 minutes, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I haven't
It's
played much past that,
the
so
tutorial's a bit long. It's a bit long.
but
Yeah,
it looks cool. It's one of those things where like Christmas time, you invite grandma over and say, "Hey, grandma, look what video games can do now," and she'll be wow, she'll be amazed. It's a good one of those.
that's fair. I had a contractor here to repair something, and that's pretty much the reaction they said. They looked at it and said, "Look at what video games can do now," and it's only a matter of time before we're Ready Player One wearing the visors and pooping
Oh,
in
we're
our
already
yeah.
Travis.
It's
uh,
there.
Loop back up to the news. First story of the day is you. Uh, DenX Media made Marvelous News' photo of the day twice this week on the 17th, on the 8th, on the 19th, of photos of Namor enjoying a beverage and a bath, and a photo of Doom giving his dog or taking his dog for a walk.
Do I get to explain myself?
Yeah.
The there, like I said before, it's photo challenge. There's prompts. The prompts, I don't choose the prompts. I just choose how to respond to the prompts. So sometimes I hear a prompt and I'm like, I don't know, man. And so I just come up with what I come up with. And so the Namor one was take a break. And I was like, you know what? This looks kind of like 70s. It's got a 70s vibe. I put my Namor in a sink. I dressed it up with a bunch of alcohol all around him.
Collection,
And
yeah.
and I made it look like, he's just chilling. He's just taking that break, and I kind of like it. And then the Doom one, I spent too much time overthinking the prompt "good guy for once," and that's what I came up with.
That's a great Doom figure. I'm jealous I never got that one. That's a good Doom.
I like that Doom. He's great. He's great.
Is that Firestar's dog?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was white or tan.
There's two versions of the dog.
Oh, okay.
There's been two Firestar toys. They re-released her with pinless joints only like a year after they released her,
And a white dog.
and a different colored dog. I don't remember which one. I don't remember which one was first, but yes.
Well,
Is that I'm not fact checking you, but are those the only ones that have shown up on those websites?
oh no, you've been featured on Marvelous News.
No, I mean this week.
Um,
There's other because he has sister websites too.
I maybe scrolled maybe one page down on Marvelous News before we started. So
Gotcha.
you could have made. I mean, what is it? 17? An extra 2 more days, 3 more days. Who knows? But I think 2 is good enough. Good enough to make
Thanks.
our news.
I appreciate that it made your news. That's really cool.
And then second bit of news, so some toy stuff. NYCC New York Comic Con ended this weekend. We got some cool stuff, particularly a brand new Wasp Legends that would pair oh so nicely with your Giant Man coming next year.
Yeah, and in fairness, they always do this, right? Like they always they try to start making a wave that will be a companion piece to your giant investment for the HasLab. So I think they did it for the Sentinels. They released an entire X-Men wave that was all the characters that were on the box art for your Sentinel. For Galactus, they released a bunch of cosmic characters like Heralds of Galactus, the following year. And then for Ghost Rider, I think the Marvel Knights wave that's getting into people's into store shelves right now, I think technically that was a wave that was supposed to support the Ghost Rider.
That Blade would have looked cool in that car.
Yes, he would have. Yes. But yeah, that's kind of how they do it. So they just wanted to give a little push and let you know that there is a brand new Wasp figure in the works. She looks awesome. I think that's her first appearance costume.
Do you have a figure like this?
I have a old school Toy Biz figure that looks like that, but I don't think it has the skirt, and it definitely doesn't have that head with the mask.
The headset, I think the headset makes it cool.
Yeah. So I do not have that specific one. No. She's really cool, and you know, I think she's going to be cool regardless of whether or not you get Giant Man. But I think she looks really great there with Giant Man. Just saying.
Really next to Wasp on the screen, we have Mondo taking their crack at a Werewolf by Night figure. I know you don't care about Werewolf by Night, but you kind of like the Mondo toys a little in there.
I think Mondo toys look awesome. I think that looks like a really cool Werewolf by Night. I think that I don't like the scale of Mondo toys because they're too big, take up too much space.
12-inch, right?
Yep. Yeah. But it's a really cool figure, and it's got a lot of character to it. It almost looks like a retro toy, like, you know what I mean? It kind of has that
He-Man bow to the leg,
that He-Man pose going on and stuff. So yeah, it's a cool one. I like it. It's very nice looking. How much does that thing run?
I believe 200 smackers.
Okay.
That's fine. That's what they normally aren't. They all like 180-ish anyways?
I have no idea, but that's like too rich for my blood, bro. Too rich for my blood. What else you got?
That's it.
Oh, sure. That's it.
That's it. There was another bit of news, but it was kind of iffy. Captain America may or may not get pushed forward again because that movie's done filming, so it's just editing at this point.
Okay.
Whereas a Deadpool is not done filming. So there are some potential shakeups once this strike ends. See what ends up where.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say that's a good thing that Deadpool is not done filming, because I feel like the longer a Deadpool movie has to film, the more opportunity they have to add weird stuff into it. You know what I mean? Like they can get weird
with
fun
of the delay.
Yes, exactly. They can make fun of the delay. They can get people that were speculated all summer long because of the thing. You know what I mean? Like Ryan Reynolds is really, really observant of what's going on in social media all the time. So, and he's really quick to respond usually in certain ways. So I welcome the fact that movie's not done.
I don't think we talked about it when it announced, but are you thinking of D23 next year? What's
Well,
you
they
know what
did
they're
it.
doing, right?
They did it this year too, right? So now is it an annual thing?
They had a D23 is the club, and then D23 Expo is a different thing.
Right.
But
I thought
the
they had the
club
expo
had
this year.
a
The expo
whatever
was this
their
year also.
no, it wasn't. It was like the next step from the expo in Florida. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
very, very park focused.
Because Hasbro was there with
Yeah.
Giant Man. They were
Yeah.
there. So like it just looked like a D23 expo
Mhm.
to me. But so okay, go back. What is your question? Are you thinking about if I'm
Are
going
you
to
are
D23
yeah?
next
Are you
year?
going D23 next year?
I like D23. I don't know. It's a pretty expensive one. And
You know they're moving their, for lack of a better phrase, Hall H to the hockey arena across the street.
oh my God, that's ridiculous. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. That's funny. Are they going to clear that thing out every time in between panels?
No, I think they're just gonna probably have the big stuff. Like it's like a 1 day thing or one.
Because normally they clear it out between
Yeah.
panels. Yeah.
That's kind of
Interesting.
smart though, just to do your big hitters in once. Like
Yeah. I mean, sure. That's I don't like the Hall H experience, man. It's tiring. It's so exhausting. I don't know. Like the weird thing about D23 is I've never had a D23 as good as the first one I did. That one was so fun, and everyone since has just been like, it's just weird. It's like because it's a mixture of a lot of things that like sometimes shouldn't be together. You know what I mean? Like like Star Wars fans and Marvel fans. Yes, there's a lot of overlap, and I'm not saying there's not a lot of overlap with Disney too. It's just yeah, it's a weird mixed bag.
I
Like
think
it's a
you're I was about to say you're about to dive into Disney adult slander, but
no, it's not that. It's just like like the difference is with Comic-Con, those people are all there too, but it gets diluted by a lot of other things too. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
those three are very specific and very opinionated groups of fans, and I don't know, man. It's weird. You get a lot of angry people there sometimes. Like you get people that are just like, you know, going too hard into like
You got the fanboys.
the
You
lines,
fanboy too hard.
like the lines, getting angry in the lines, getting like I don't know. It's weird. It's not like people are fighting and stuff like that, but like
People are
it's
just angry.
and then they're also monetizing like like fast pass kind of stuff to make it so you could like pay to or spend points to go and see specific thing. It's I don't know. It's cool, but at the same time, it just feels like it's a rat race. Like I'm just kind of like going from one place to another really fast everywhere, and I just can't like breathe when I'm there. Like it's so I don't know. We'll see. I do like seeing cool stuff, but I don't really care enough to wait in a line for the Hall H experience. So if I'm not going to do it, like really what the whole convention is good at is making you spend a ton of money and hope that you can make some of it back. That's what that convention's really good at. There's just so many exclusives. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, speaking of fun things to do while running around, we had some of that in this week's episode of Loki.
That's amazing. I don't even know what to say about that one.
I had another one teed up, and then you pivoted, so I had to like rethink it on the fly.
I'm sorry. You asked me my opinion of things.
It's okay.
I'm going to share it.
You gave it. This is opinion show.
Are you going to go to D23?
If I can just do that Hall H thing, maybe.
Just buy the 1-day pass.
Yeah, because imagine a Hall H situation where you just drive up to the thing and park, go in, have an assigned seat, and then come out. Like, I think that's fine. Like, the stress is getting in, but if I can just pay to get in, then sure.
Fair enough. Will it be assigned seating though?
I'm sure they'll probably do it by zones. Like, you get a color zone or whatever. It would just be me, like Hall H. So, I sit wherever.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, you want to talk about Loki?
I want to talk about Loki. It
All
got
right.
good. It got better. No, you're making a face.
Interesting. I didn't expect that reaction from it. Here's my wife and I are in the same page every time we watch an episode of Loki. We are amazed by the cinematography. We are amazed by the wardrobe, the set design. We're amazed by the wonderful actors and the music and the sound design. We're amazed by every single one of those things except the writing. I just don't care about the story that's happening, and uh, and and it makes it feel weird because when it's over, we're just like, okay, I guess we just watched that. I have no idea why, but like, and it's so weird that I feel angry at something that is so beautiful. Like that show is cool. Like,
It's a cool show.
I don't understand why the story doesn't matter to me.
I mean, it makes sense, but I think they're going the just lack of a better phrase of like the Rick and Mortiness of meta timey-wimey sci-fi super cyclical story. They maybe went 2 notches too deep on that dial. I don't hate it. I don't think it's bad, but they are trying. I maybe the show is better, smarter than me. I will admit to that, but I feel like I can see the direction they're going, and now it's about waiting for them to do it as opposed to.
Well, what is the direction you think they're going?
It's gonna loop back. It's gonna loop back in itself. Like it's gonna. For me, I honestly think what all the stuff they're doing is not gonna matter. Right? It's a closed loop. I guess is a better way to put it.
Well, yeah, we already saw Sylvie is trapped in an elevator way later on in the future, and that question was raised. Like, I saw you in the future. She's like, well, I thought that can't happen anymore. So yeah, no, it's definitely there's a closed loop happening for sure. Um, but I think when you realize that too soon, you need it to get there fast, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're just like, what are we doing? So this whole episode was, I guess, the promised detour that we got in the end of Quantumania, which was at some point Loki and Mobius were going to travel to the 1800s and find Victor Timely, a variant of Kang that existed in that time period. And so yeah, this episode was kind of like the origin story of Victor Timely, and I didn't care. I didn't care.
There was a lot of more. I mean, for the dumb Hollywoodness of it, I was like, damn, that's. I know I said in the first episode, but Jonathan Majors is back in a big way, in a very prominent way, and
I mean,
I feel like that's still, bad chips at this point.
it's weird, right?
It's a little weird.
On
It's a
on
little
the
weird.
on the same token, though, he was really good, right?
He was really good.
He was really good, and that's the problem I'm having with it. Is it's like the acting is so good in this show, but Ravonna Renslayer was back. She was super good. Miss Minutes was back, and whoa, she got to act in that one, man. She got crazy, but like I didn't care about any of it. Like that's I don't know
Like
how to.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. I don't think anyone's performance is bad, but it's like one of those things where the sum's not adding up to the total that you want.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, we got to see, that there was a time travel shenanigan where Miss Minutes and Ravonna delivered a TVA manual to Victor Timely in the 1860s. Then they go and visit him in the 1890s or 1880s, something like that, late 1880s.
Yeah.
And he's all grown up and is a super inventor. And and has got all these designs for like things that will hopefully fix the temporal loom, which I think that's the real reason she basically created a new Kang, right? Is to help. They need somebody to come and fix the loom.
They need a Kang specifically
Yes,
to bypass a lock to fix the loom.
yeah, which doesn't make sense because they said that it's keyed to that person's temporal signature.
Yes.
So if he's from a different time or a different universe, won't he have a different temporal signature?
Maybe it'd be the same. He's an.
I guess. I guess it's semantics.
Nexus beings exist in different time periods. Is that the question I'm asking?
I think they can. Yeah. Because
Okay.
yeah. Because yeah, I was weirded off that this king was from the 1800s too. But yeah, I think they can. Like it's just like it's like Spider-Man Noir, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Spider-Man in that universe for some reason just exists in the 1920s or 30s, whatever.
Yeah.
30s. And you just accept it, you know, like, or the story 1602.
Like every Spider-Man exists in their current time. So
yeah, they just exist whenever they exist. So so once I reasoned that, I was okay with Victor Timely. I was like, okay, it can be fine.
I've seen rumors and I want to know your thoughts on it. What if he's not a Kang variant, but a Reed variant? They kind of pull a Ultron Iron Man kind of switch up villain creator type of roles and make Kang and Reed one and the same. How would you yay, nay?
I don't know that I need Kang and Reed to be the same person because I don't need Doctor Doom to be like opposed to Kang. I need Doctor Doom to be opposed to.
Are Doom and Kang buddies kind of typically?
Not like big time, but I mean they hung out in Secret Wars, but like I think that's yeah, it's weird. It changes the dynamic because then there's almost an implication that Kang is Reed Richards' greatest enemy, right? And
that's fair. But in the comics, Kang is technically a grandson of a grandson of a grandson of Reed.
It's like a super far 35th century descendant of Reed, but also somehow because of time travel, possibly his great 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 granddaddy.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know it was one of those.
It might be a Back to the Future situation.
Okay.
It's kind of gross. He had to bang somebody's grandma.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but no. So it's I like talking about the Kangness of it, but I don't think the show is ready to go all in on the Kangness of it. So, especially because of the fact that we still keep force feeding the name "He Who Remains."
That is kind of weird. Like I'm surprised that Loki doesn't know Kang yet, whether he's learned it or has known it.
Yeah, yeah. It's who knows. Whatever. The longer we go into the MCU, the weirder it becomes that like ancient beings aren't aware of other super awesome things. Like why has Loki never mentioned anything about the Celestials from the Eternals or anything like that too? You know,
he never mentioned Balder the Brave.
Yeah, exactly. I did appreciate that they finally did mention Balder in this in the MCU because he is the other brother.
He's a brother.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know. I thought he was just the Asgardian dude.
I believe he's a brother. I could be wrong. But in any case, he's in Norse mythology. Yes, he is the other brother. Exactly.
He was supposed to be in Multiverse Madness, played by Daniel Craig. There's some good concept art out there too.
Interesting. Yeah. Isn't that weird that Loki and Thor have another brother in Norse mythology that Marvel's just like, we don't got space for that
I
right
mean,
now?
I don't think it's weird that there's other brothers in the family that no one talks about. So we'll
Okay,
leave it at
fair,
that.
fair enough, fair enough. But I'm glad that you were surprised, like, to know that, because so
I've
it
heard. I
is.
mean, through the multiverse of madness hype train, Baldur's the Brave came up a number of
Yeah,
times, so it was cool to like, oh, okay.
it's been, well, because like at some point they had to address it, right? So there, because remember, the conceit with Loki and Thor in the Marvel universe is that they are the inspiration for the well-established Norse mythology that exists on Earth.
Mhm.
And so if you accept that all of Norse mythology exists, then you got to ask the question, hey, what's up with your family tree? It looks a little
Well,
different.
Hela is Hela a Norse goddess?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
didn't know if she was made up.
No.
We only went one chapter in school on Norse mythology.
She is the goddess of hell, but it's
Okay,
only with Hel, just one
yeah.
one L. Yes.
Um, well, you touched on it when you're going in. So aside from the missing link in acting, how was the music and the editing and
I
all that fun stuff?
Okay, you're misquoting me. I didn't say the missing link was in acting. I said the acting was amazing.
There's a something missing in the sauce.
It's the writing. I said
The
it.
writing, the writing.
I like everything else about the movie. That's the music. Oh man, every time they try to find a new way to play the theme song for this movie, it makes me realize just how iconic.
I kind of hate Sylvie's theme though.
I don't even notice Sylvie's theme. I guess that's how much I don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
like the violin thing.
Um. Interesting. I don't hear it in my head, but that's fine if you don't like it, because I don't even pay attention to hers.
Okay.
But not her, the character, her music. I'm saying.
Oh,
Uh, that said, her story's stupid. I don't know. Like, there's a whole part of this in this episode where everybody's trying to either protect or save Victor Timely, and you're just like, what the hell, guys? What is happening here? Yeah, it's weird to me. It's because, like, at some point they're trying to save him, and then some people are trying to kill him, and it's just back and forth. Like, I
well, I
didn't
think
know.
Sylvie course corrected though in the end, where she lets them live. Like, they're all right. Let's go back in.
Yes,
They're taking a Kang to the TVA.
but it again. I'm trying to. I'm not. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but like, it better be getting to something. It better be getting to something cool. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, why? Like, and at some point we got to figure out how to like wean ourselves off of Jonathan Majors, because it's really awkward. Like, I almost is it too much to ask for this show to figure out a way to swap the actor? Is it,
Um,
are we too far
I
gone?
mean, it's only he has. There's no crime has been. What's the word? He hasn't been convicted of any crime. Um, it's just stuff pending. So I mean, it's weird, but he's good. He's good in the show. Like, that's I think to your point earlier. His appearance in the sheer acting of his appearance is not the problem in the show.
Yes. Yes.
It's a
By the
weird
way,
Johnny Depp catch-22.
I just to correct something from earlier. Hela has a different name in Norse mythology. It's just Hell, just
Okay.
like the like
HEL.
she. It's like Hades is the god of Hades.
Yeah.
It's the same weird thing. Like, they're
Okay.
just like, it's like, yeah, yes, this is my house. It is named after me. Like, Just throwing that out there, just to clarify.
Just to correct all our Norse mythology.
I just don't
haters.
want to be upsetting Norse mythology people and be like, they're easily upset. I think it depends. They get really touchy about that.
Them and D23 crowds.
Yes, but yeah. To back to what you're saying, Jonathan Majors, he's super cool, but like, and I know it's a weird, I know the American justice system really is about innocent until proven guilty, but it's just really awkward when we hang on to somebody hoping and hoping and hoping, and then the verdict comes and you're like, ooh, like, I'm not saying abandon the people that you care about. I'm just saying, like, are we that invested in Jonathan Majors right now that
You could have put him on ice for a little bit.
yeah, like I'm not saying let's fire him. I'm just saying, like, can we find a way to pivot to other monsters or other bad guys or something else? You know what I mean? Like, the Man Thing's out there. I just watched Werewolf by Night in color, and I'm like, oh yeah,
This is a multiverse swamp, right? That's his thing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Wouldn't it be hilarious if that's how this ends? Is it?
He definitely has done some multiversal travel for sure. Man Thing. He's there's comics with him hanging out with Howard the Duck.
Did you watch the Werewolf by Night in color?
I watched about 90% of it. I had to stop right before the show.
Correct me. It's not in color, like they just took away the black and white. They painted in color.
It's Technicolor.
Right? Technicolor.
Yeah. It's really cool looking because it still has that old school film grain. But the one problem is it definitely comes out feeling darker, like visually, like you almost want to turn the brightness up on your TV, because in the black and white, the whites are they're bright.
There's a weird saturation with Technicolor.
Yeah. So like there are scenes that are just incredibly too dark, and it's like it's kind of hard to make out all the beautiful detail that I remember being able to. So, like, for example, remember the scene where Elsa cuts a dude's arm off, and then like she flips him, and you see the blood fly in the air, and it's really high contrast in the black and white version, right? So you can really see this blood. It's black because it's it's not in color, but you know what it is when you see it. You almost miss it in the color version because there's so much color and it's dark at night still, so like there's these blue tones because of the darkness, or the nighttime, and there's yellow lights and stuff. And so when you see this black blood just fly by, it's fast and it's dark and it blends in with too many shadows. And so it's like, I'm kind of like, I do love seeing the vibrant colors that some people are like, to see Elsa wearing the really red orange jacket. It's nice, like, it's cool to see Man Thing in his full green, green monster look with the red. Although I do believe he's there in color at the very end of the
when they're having the original coffee one, right? Or whatever.
The post credits, right?
Color.
Towards
the end when they touch the stone or whatever.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So, but that's where I got to the stone getting touched and stuff like that. So, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed rewatching it. I love the performances in it. So, I just wanted to see it one more time. The cool thing to note is when you on the rewatch, it's kind of cool to watch the is it Gael Garcia Bernal? Is that the guy who plays the werewolf? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You should look at his face every time they're talking about the monster they'll be hunting. He has reactions that are not the normal reactions that the rest of the room's having, and it's because he's there to rescue his friend, you know what I mean? And so, like, it's cool to see that after having watched it and see like his subtle facial reactions that are very just different from everybody else in the room, and to understand why, to see like, oh, they say they're gonna implant a thing to weaken the monster, and then he has like a sad face to him, right? Because it's like, oh, they're hurting my friend, like, and it's cool. I think that's the better reason to rewatch it, is to see all the little hints
Well,
at,
it's only, what is it, 45 minutes, an hour?
55. It's 55 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah. But the color stuff, the novelty wears off after a few minutes, and then you just become a little annoyed that it's too dark to see. Yeah, but it is cool. I love that. I love that special. I love it more than Loki, which is why we switched subjects, and that's I'm glad that you
Well,
brought it up.
we're halfway through, right? We were 3 up, about to hit 3 down.
Yeah,
It's not bad. I don't think you can say it's a bad show. It's just not. I don't think it's hitting the same highs as Loki season
it's
1 is.
it's better than Secret Invasion.
Okay.
I don't know that it's better than Hawkeye. I don't know that it is.
I'll agree with that. Hawkeye's a very solid. You could put a nice little bow on Hawkeye. No
Hawkeye,
pun intended. Yeah.
I think Jeremy Renner does a lot to sell that, and also Haley
Seinfeld.
Steinfeld, yeah, Steinfeld. But I don't think, like, I'm trying to think. I think the story is better in Hawkeye, probably. It's kind of as convoluted as the story in Loki, though, where there's just a lot of things happening, and you're just like, can you tell me when it matters? Like, is this going to matter? Do I have to care about the LARPers? Are the LARPers going to matter? They kind of are.
Do matter at
they
the
kind
end,
of
yeah.
not. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things going on where, like, Loki's trying to set up a lot, and I just hope that those things all matter. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I hope, we've been doing a lot of building up, and we're 2 years away from the next Avengers thing, and I want the downswing now.
Are you feeling the fatigue? I think that's the real question.
The MCU fatigue?
Yeah.
No.
No, huh?
I'm happy with the cadence that we get to watch these shows, and that's when they come out. Has the quality dipped? Yes.
Okay.
I don't think
it just hasn't reached your threshold yet.
Nothing's. I don't think. Yeah, no. I think we're a long way from that. It's like taking an all-star home run hitter, and now they're only hitting triples, doubles, and maybe a home run, which are still good. It's still good.
What was the last home run?
I know I'm gonna forget one. I won't name the last one because I don't want to put stuff against each other. But Black Panther.
I think Guardians 3 was after
Guardians 3. Okay, Guardians 3 the home run. I really do think the Eternals was good.
I like the Eternals.
Yeah,
I like the Eternals.
I think it's cool. I don't think it's bad. I think Shang-Chi is probably one of the weaker movies, but it's still good. There's still a good solid core.
I thought Shang-Chi used to be in your top 3, bro.
Yeah, so are all those other minus Guardians, but Guardians is still good.
But you said okay.
But
you just said Shang-Chi's worse than Guardians.
Shang-Chi is not. Yes, I will say Shang-Chi is worse than Guardians.
then it can no longer be your top
3. Oh man! All right, top 5. Shang-Chi.
Oh man,
I have hopes for the Marvels. I like Iman Vellani and Brie Larson.
Here's the thing, though. Like a few months ago, I was really excited for that movie, but as we keep getting fed stuff that doesn't matter or make sense or have any meatiness or like real substance to it, that cadence is becoming a problem, because like I feel like I would rather get better quality stuff less often than get fed mediocre stuff all the time. So because the mediocre stuff becomes the taste that I always have in my mouth, then I'm not as excited when I see an ad for the Marvels. Will the Marvels be better than Secret Invasion? I have no doubt in my mind that it will be. But you know, I like
Would it bug
I
you if I said what if is the mediocre stuff?
I mean, I get why you say that, because it doesn't feel like actually related to the MCU in the
There's a little silliness to it.
but you know, you're entitled to that wrong
Yeah.
opinion. No, what if's probably one of my favorite things because it has the freedom to be what it wants to be. Like
Mhm.
that's the problem I'm having with Loki is it's bogged down by bearing the burden of delivering more Kang story. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it is very
Ka-
much the heavy lifter of the King story so far.
yeah, and that's weird to me because they should have just called it Kang.
I think it's
Like
cool. I but yeah, I maybe agree with that. Like it doesn't it stops being a Loki show at a certain point.
it's yeah, is like it's a Tom Hiddleston show, but I don't feel like it's a Loki show. Like he doesn't get to do a lot of Loki stuff anymore, you know. So, and I get that
On the
the
contrary,
character
he uses more Loki powers in the
he
show.
loses the powers, but it's like it doesn't. He's not being the god
Is
of mischief anymore. You know what I mean?
is I know it's not in MCU so far or anymore. In your ideal world, is Loki intrinsic with Thor in terms of their meddling and his buffoonery and his mischief ways?
It is weird to me that Loki is dead in that universe, because yeah, he's kind of like the main villain. You know, like he is Thor's villain often. And just when you think Loki's just reached the end point of creativity, then he goes and turns himself into a woman. And that version of him is also cool. You know, like that's what I'm saying. Like Loki always finds a way to reinvent in the comics and come back new and refreshed and still cool to be the villain. And so this is just, I mean, I get it. He's also become somebody that at times is plays the hero, but
Mhm.
like the show even mentions in this episode, he's switching sides all the time. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of his thing. So I'm just kind of waiting for that because right now I'm waiting for Loki to betray the fans in this show. That's
Ooh,
I
yeah, that's what I want.
that wouldn't that be
I want
cool?
to see him piss off Twitter.
I think it would be cool if he did the thing, whatever it is, that upset us. You know, like if it's kill Mobius or if it's kill Sylvie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Either one of those things, I think would be. Uh, I think it would bring me back. It would bring me back on board. Is to see maybe because maybe we're being tricked into believing that he's experiencing all this growth, but really he's just who he is because he's been that way for thousands of years, you know. I don't know. I'm okay with the growth story. I am. I just want to see it. I want to
They
see it get somewhere.
do make it a point to mention that they are jumping into the sacred timeline. So if I'm gonna shift the pie in the sky theory, I think I have belief a Thor will maybe show up in some capacity.
But that interesting because the Thor is not the foil to Loki.
No, but
Loki's his own foil. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
but
that's
a Thor would fuck up this Loki,
yeah,
not in terms not physically, but emotionally.
but Thor doesn't show up to just beat up Loki. That's not kind of.
No.
I mean, unless we're talking about Norse mythology, and then yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I think I want to see something that I don't fully expect, you know? And I think that's what I'm missing right now is it's like is it cool to see Miss Minutes like be a ghost in old-timey, you know, America. Like, okay,
That's cool.
I guess it's cool, but like, is it weird that she's got this sub story where like she's in love with He Who Remains and wants a body so she can do
Yeah,
all
that was a
the
weird, but
things? That
I
it's
think it's cool that her and Ravonna are at the end of time with a king corpse.
I almost wanted that body to move just to be a zombie. I
Oh, it's
was
gonna move.
I was like, make it a zombie, make it a zombie. Yeah, I was excited to see Ravonna back, and then this episode was like, what did we just do here? Like, I don't. You just kind of danced around and flip flop, and then decided to do something else, and then you got kicked through and to the end of time. Okay, cool. Again, they're setting up pieces. I don't know the full puzzle, obviously, but I don't know that.
You're not intrigued to know.
Yeah, I'm not intrigued enough to care, and so it would be great if they did something as bananas as the season finale of the first season of Loki. But I don't think they will. Do you think they will?
Mm, I think they will. I think they will.
Okay. All
Oh
right.
wait, as bananas or just something bananas?
As bananas.
I think they'll do something as bananas.
Okay. But will it be received as bananas? Or will it be received as like, I guess that's kind of bananas?
There will be some debate on the bananas.
On a scale of 1 to all bananas, is what I'm saying. I feel like this is yeah. The show needs more bananas, is what it needs.
Okay. Well,
That's all I got.
more bananas is our review and outlook looking forward for Loki season 3. What do we got on the docket next week?
I've
Weekend
been
before Halloween.
I've been watching Gen V. I
I've
don't know about you.
not been watching Gen. I need to watch Gen B. I feel so bad.
Um,
I want to. I really do want to, but it's like I know I'm digging the hole deeper, but like the longer I go without watching it, the more of a time commitment I know I'm gonna have to get into it because they're like hour-long episodes, right?
not all of them. Some of them are short. Yeah. Soldier Boy was in this week's episode. I thought that was weird and funny.
Did he crank that?
Not that Soldier Boy. You know
That is cool though. That's cool that he's game to play or down to clown and the boys because his character is probably the worst of them all.
You think Soldier Boy's character is the worst, or like the grossest? What do you mean by worst? That character is hilarious. What are you talking about?
I don't think there's any Twitter debates on Soldier Boy being a hero or a good person.
Okay.
Whereas
Yes,
Homelander, unfortunately, has a lot of fans.
So
in this world.
you mean the worst, as in like unable to trick the American populace into believing in him? Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I guess I'm okay with that. Yes. Like, that's what I was saying. Soldier Boy is just a straight up villain. And that's why he's cool. Like, it's awesome. I think he's a cool character. They like every time he's like Darth Vader, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty funny. It's funny. If they ever try to redeem that character, like, it's no, come on. Like Homelander, I feel like they want you to believe, like they want a certain group of America to believe that character is going to get redeemed, which he's not. Also, like, he's disgusting, and that's what makes him awesome. But there's that charm, right? That charm that comes along with it. Yeah. But yeah, check out Gen V. I'm not going to say it's as good as The Boys, but I do feel like there is a storyline happening there that is more important or more relevant to The Boys universe. And I finally, like, I basically finally got to see what is going on at this school that matters to the larger universe. And so you just kind of ignore all the kids and just focus on the secret science stuff that's going down in the underground labs. And yeah, they're making something that could have really big implications for the boys universe. Unless this show just tanks and like ends with like, oh, never
I
mind,
think
we
they already
destroyed
announced
it.
the
You know,
season 2 because there was a quote coming around this week of this will lead into season 4 of The Boys, and then The Boys season 4 will lead into Gen V season 2.
okay,
So they're
okay. Well, I mean, I'll give you a tiny spoiler. There is a secret government group sponsored by VOT that it, or I mean, I guess VOT's technically not the government, right? They're a secret VOT company that is developing a virus that targets the compound V in soups. So they're developing a weapon in case, because I think they know certain ones have gotten a little out of hand, right?
yeah,
Like,
you need the off switch.
yeah. And so like I'm
Any
just saying,
responsible government would want the off switch.
if Butcher and the boys found out about this, it could be really useful for them, right? Like it could be. So yeah, I want to see where they go with it. But yeah, that's like, so they have this school, it's a super school, but secretly sometimes some students go missing, and it's because they take them down to the lab and test on them and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what's going on. Like I said, the whole CW drama of all these like 18, 19-year-olds like making out and
Sounds like Goosebumps.
struggling with their, yeah. Well, it's pretty not Goosebumps. I saw a guy's dick explode last week. It's pretty much. Does that happen on Goosebumps?
Have you watched all episodes? I
No, I
won't
haven't.
spoil it for you.
Really? Okay, I'm down. I'm gonna be so mad at you if somebody's dick doesn't explode. But yeah, it's. I won't say it's as good as The Boys for sure, but it is finally presenting a plot point that I'm interested in seeing where it goes. You know, I mean, you perked up when you heard when I explained it to you,
that's a
right?
cool little spin. That's a cool little spin that I hope we get out of Loki episode 4 coming next week.
Right? There's something to be like, oh, okay, this.
Yeah.
Now I see how you matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what we're waiting for, right? That's what we were waiting for from Secret Invasion. Is we're like, hey, tell me how you matter. Just let me know how you matter, and then it never really mattered. Like none of what happened.
Yeah, we'll find out.
It mattered for Colby Smulders, who no longer is employed at the MCU.
We'll know in 3 weeks when Nick Fury and company shows up in the
Sure.
Marvels.
Sure, but until then, you can count on us to be super grumpy about Loki and talking about whatever other things we got going on in the superhero world. Hopefully by next week I will have beat Spider-Man, but I'm not promising. What about you? What promises?
I will play more Spider-Man, and I will watch some of Gen V.
Okay.
I think I can safely promise that.
Okay, just fair warning. There's way more sex and violence than there is in Goosebumps, so
okay.
Don't let your mom watch with you.
I'll ask her to leave.
Yes. All right. Cool.
All right.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say thanks to anybody who is choosing to watch us either live or after the fact, and you know where to do.
Yeah, if you like what you saw, like and subscribe on patreon.com/denxmedia. You can find some cool pics, some cool content. You can also subscribe on YouTube. We always love our subscribers here. And what am I missing? Instagram. If you want to see Dennis's daily toy photography, ACBA, something spooky Halloween challenge, go there.
October.
And with that, true believers, enough said.